The 2026 legislative session is behind us. It was at times rather unpleasant, but we made it through, and from where we started to where we ended up, we can't complain too much. But we probably will complain a little when we tell you what went down this session. He's Andrew, and I'm Nate, and this is the DLC's Policy Corner.
Not sure why Nate and I always start with the budget, but it's what we do. Given where the session began with a lot of proposed cuts, some good programs got funded, as we noted in our policy light last week. We didn't see anything get slashed at the last minute with the final executive appropriations meeting. They did take $5 million from the prison extension, but that still leaves $125 million. And they did give another $1 million to the DSPD rate increase, making that $4 million total. They also put another $1 million ongoing into homelessness and high utilizers of the criminal justice system. All told, they put $17.8 million ongoing and $26 million one time into homelessness programs, which all require a 1-to-1 county match, essentially doubling those amounts. Details are light, so we'll have to keep an eye on where that gets spent.
And now we're on to bills. We'll start with a couple budget-related bills since we're already talking budget. We mentioned HB 599 and SB 288 from Representative Ward and Senator Stratton, respectively. The co-chairs of Social Services saw both bills pass and are off to the governor. HB 599 took the interest in the Medicaid expansion account and moves it to the general fund, and SB 288 details how DHHS and Social Services can divvy out that money to Medicaid providers. Obviously, it helped DSPD, New Choices, Home Health, and other important programs this year. However, it will be worth watching how that money gets spent in future years.
We also mentioned a couple bills from Representative Elison. HB 596 used money from the nicotine tax to fund certain behavioral health programs, but that failed. However, some provisions concerning homeless shelters were resurrected and put into HB 308 from Representative Okerlund. Representative Elison's other big mental health bill, HB 572, did pass with the $750,000 funding that may help fund a receiving center and some peer support services, among other things. It does create a database for tracking involuntary commitments in the state, but thankfully they did add some privacy protections.
We never want to disappoint our fans, the millions out there watching, so we couldn't end the session without everyone's favorite segment, Good Bill, Bad Bill. First up, the good bill is HB 472 from Representative Lou Bay that tries to close a loophole that allowed some concerning DSPD providers to essentially reopen after they lost their license. It passed and is off to the governor. The bad bill is SB 68 from Senator Brammer that allows for retaliatory lawsuits against individuals or lawyers who file ADA lawsuits in website access cases in certain situations. Unfortunately, it also passed and is off to the governor.
All right. Next up, the good bill is SB 128 from Senator Plum that creates a full alert for when a vulnerable adult goes missing. The bill is also on the governor's desk. The bad bill is HB 495 from Representative Ferrucci, which tries to speed up the process in death penalty cases. However, it does so, at least in part, by making it harder for defense counsel to raise the question of intellectual disability or incompetence, both of which prohibit the use of the death penalty. Sadly, the governor has this one too.
Another good bill was HB 23 from Representative Lisenby that tasked the Division of Corporations and Commercial Code to post the contact info and website link for the Disability Law Center so folks can learn about their rights and responsibilities under the ADA with respect to service animals. The bad bill is HB 173 from Representative Lee, which would have allowed pregnant women to park in accessible parking spaces. Thankfully, the governor only has one of these bills, HB 23, because HB 173 never got out of committee.
We also have a few good bill, bad bills on their own. HB 463 from Representative Tracy Miller would have increased funding for special education students with higher support needs, but also allowing some funding to help support mainstreaming of those students. That's good, but the bill failed, and that's bad. We hope the conversation continues in the interim.
Then there is HB 471 from Representative Monson. This bill essentially codifies the Medicaid changes in HR 1 from Congress over the summer. It is good that it does not go further than the federal law with things like work requirements, but HR 1 is bad policy to begin with. That said, the governor has this one too.
SB 181 from Senator Escamilla started out as a very good bill that added guardrails to seclusion rooms. Unfortunately, substitutes pushed back when these changes need to be in effect, and it rolls back some of the bill from last year that limited the use of seclusion, which is bad. You guessed it, it's with the governor too.
Lastly, we have the DLC-related bills, SJR 7 and SB 154. Obviously, the resolution attacking the DLC's designation was bad, but the good news is that it failed. SB 154, the bill that requests a report from the DLC, is off to the governor for his signature or veto, and we're happy to share our good work with the legislature. These bills added stress to a session that is already long and stressful, which is bad. However, the amount of support we received from all of you is the best thing that came out of this session. This episode would need to be at least 20 minutes longer to properly thank all of you, but just know that we appreciate you all so much.
Well, that's a wrap for the 2026 general session of the Utah State Legislature. We mentioned a lot of bills that the governor can sign or veto, and we will let you know if any of those happen to get vetoed. However, you can find our bill and budget trackers, including a bunch of things we didn't talk about today, and any comments on our website at disabilitylawcenter.org/issues/public-policy. Like last year, we hope to provide you some policy lights over the summer about what is happening at the various levels of government. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you when we see you.